Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Palacios, and I just want to briefly talk about naturopathic myths. So the first myth that I want to go over today is,
Naturopathic doctors get their degrees online.
now we have a misunderstanding that needs to be clarified first of all. There is a difference between a naturopath and a naturopathic doctor. So let me clarify that. A naturopath, also known as a traditional naturopath, is a short course that can be done in a couple of months that you can take online, and you work as a wellness coach or a health coach using naturopathic philosophy to the path of healing. On the other hand, a naturopathic doctor has a 4-year path after undergraduate education. So let me break it down for you. The first 2 years are going to be all about biomedical sciences that include anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, microbiology, laboratory techniques, pathology, and clinical diagnosing, just to name most of them. And then the last 2 years, we do clinical rotations, and we are emphasizing more our naturopathic trainings for plans and recommendations and treatments to the public, such as botanical medicine, homeopathy, nutrition, mind-body medicine, and pharmacology, including other natural medicines. In the schooling, naturopathic doctors are required to take 2 NCLEX examinations, also known as naturopathic physician licensing examinations, administered by the North American Board of Naturopathic Examiners, known as the NADNI. And once we pass and become licensed as naturopathic physicians or doctors, we use our credentials to register under the Department of Health in the state that we practice in, if the state allows naturopathic doctors to work as healthcare providers. So as you can see, the naturopathic doctor training cannot be done online because it is extensive and requires a lot of professionalism and interactions with the public that cannot just simply be done through a webcam. So myth number 2, naturopathic doctors are not real doctors. So I've read this many times throughout articles and social media, and I just want to clarify some things. Today in the US healthcare system, we have 2 words that seem confusing to us, especially to the public: doctor and physician. Now, a doctor is more general. You can be a doctor, but not a physician, and you can be a physician and a doctor. So for example, if you have a PhD or a Doctor of Philosophy degree in anything, any subject, you can be called a doctor, but a physician can only be treated as a physician if they work in the medical setting and they have the license from their respective state. MDs and DOs are considered physicians. Now, in the realm of naturopathic medicine, naturopathic doctors can be called naturopathic physicians in some states like Connecticut and California. In conclusion, though, many naturopathic doctors cannot be called physicians nationwide because, like I've mentioned, there's only some states that allow licensing. We're not physicians nationwide, but due to our equivalent education of naturopathic medicine, as a PhD, we can be called doctors because we are an expert on the subject. Now, as I mentioned before, a naturopath or a traditional naturopath cannot be called a doctor because they do not have the 4-year training degree as naturopathic doctors. Myth number 3, naturopathic doctors are quacks because they only sell snake oil. Now, before I get into the topic, let's clarify the term. So a quack is a practitioner or somebody who claims that there is a medicine that cures everything. Quacks use claims that something works without enough evidence to suggest that it does. But based on the complexity of the individual bodies, the quality of the disease, the genetics, there is no one medicine that is good for everything. Now, the issue doesn't come from whether there is enough evidence to trust your naturopathic doctor. The issue is that natural medicines do not get as much attention for individualized research to show enough evidence compared to other conventional treatments. Nutraceuticals like supplements and botanical medicines have some kind of standard by the FDA and the European Food Safety Authority, or the EFSA. But remember that we naturopathic doctors are trained in safety, and our exam boards assured us that we will be safe with our prescriptions to patients, which is why we must also study drug, nutrient, and herb interactions. Otherwise, we are doing a disservice to the community and our patients. Quackery is not a practice that I will encourage with anybody, but it's definitely not something that we naturopathic doctors do in any form of our training. Now, myth number 4, naturopathic doctors are natural doctors. Now, another misconception, even among holistic and alternative doctors, that believe naturopathic doctors only treat and handle conditions with natural medicines. Though this is partly true, I have to mention that each state has regulations for naturopathic practice, and many states in the West Coast, such as Washington, Arizona, and California, for example, do have prescriptive rights, which means that in these states, naturopathic doctors can prescribe pharmaceutical drugs. However, there are other licensed states like Connecticut, Vermont, and Colorado that do not allow prescription rights. It is important to remember that the use of pharmaceutical is no different than herbs or nutritional supplements in the sense that both can be helpful, short or long term. We support the body's ability to repair itself. This is our philosophy. And sometimes pharmaceutical drugs are necessary to get there. So there are ongoing debates among naturopathic doctors that prescriptive rights take away the natural aspect of naturopathic medicine. However, if we believe that pharmaceutical drugs can help us control some of your symptoms, then once they're controlled, we can tackle the condition with natural medicine and lifestyle modifications until you are no longer dependent on the drug, or much less dependent. This is a win-win because your symptoms are being taken care of, and we are also addressing your underlying condition. Myth number 5, naturopathic doctors only work for the wealthy and the hippies. Though it is true that we tend to attract a population background who oppose pharmaceutical drugs, vaccines, and other forms of conventional treatments, it doesn't mean that is our target population. We are open to learning what our patients have done in the past, whether there is evidence or not for the treatments or their conditions. Many of our patients come to us because they feel judged from using, say, crystals or Reiki in their healing journey. We invite anybody, whether they believe in esoteric treatments, conventional treatment, because we don't judge them. Unless we have solid argument that whatever they're doing is harming them, we will not oppose their choice of outside treatment. Our services are known to be pricey for 2 reasons. One, there is not enough insurance coverage for naturopathic physicians or doctors, even in the states of license, unfortunately. So many of the patients have to pay cash. And the other reason why it may seem pricey is because our first appointment, we spend with you about an hour to an hour and a half, and sometimes 2 hours, to learn all about your medical past and your medical history, so we can have a true assessment of the individual that you are, rather than what disease you're suffering. Another thing too is that supplements can be expensive, but you can be assured that you are consuming very high quality products from our perspectives that have natural preservatives and no known additives, whereas pharmaceutical drugs tend to carry additives and preservatives, which may be allergic to some people. If you think about the investment you're doing, though, you will end up saving more money in the long run, because we're going to work on getting you to live preventatively, age gracefully, and finally use natural medicines wisely.